7 o'clock. Let's call the meeting to order with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We do not have our clerk here this evening, so I'd be happy to have someone decide they'd like to step up and be clerk for the purposes of roll call votes, etc. Any motion, happy to take. But if someone wants to volunteer, I'm sure there'd be a support for that.
I don't know
I
how to be a
volunteer,
clerk.
Connie Bills.
I don't know how to be a clerk. I can't be a clerk.
I'll do it, I guess.
I'd like to nominate Bill Houck as clerk.
Support.
Motion to nominate Trustee Houck as clerk for this meeting. Support by Bills. Any other discussion on that? Thank you for stepping up, by the way.
Well, I'll do it. No big
Thank
deal.
you.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Trustee Houck, you are in charge this evening.
All right,
So
roll
would you
call.
please do roll call.
Roll call, Supervisor Milky,
Here?
Trustee James Daring,
Here.
Trustee Connie Bills.
Here.
Trustee Houck here. I just got a text from Jeff Brown. He said, home ill, forgot to call. And Clerk Cody's excused and Treasurer Rice is excused.
Thank you.
Do I have to keep minutes too?
No,
Because you won't read my writing.
we have help with that, but I did need someone to help with any roll call kind of votes.
Yep.
So thanks for the roll call. We have a light agenda. It's a good thing. We've had a lot of rotation on vacations. It's weird to see just 4 of us here. But nonetheless, be happy to entertain any motions regarding the agenda before us.
I make a motion to approve the agenda.
Support.
Motion by Bill, support by Houck. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion to pass the presented agenda passes unanimously. We have no presentations, no public hearings this evening. That brings us to item 7 on the agenda, public comment. Public comment is restricted to 3 minutes regarding items on this agenda. If you please state your name and address for the record if you choose to address the public and board. And with that, we'll open up public comment at 7:03 p.m.
Hello, everyone. I'm Matt Miller. I'm from Mid-Michigan College. Address of the college is 2600 South Somerton here in Mount Pleasant. I live up in Clare, but that's why I'm here for the college. With me is Matt Motes from Rowe Engineering. Rowe Professional Services. Yeah.
The civil consultant.
We're on the agenda later today to talk about the rezoning of a few parcels, and so we appreciate you taking this up. As you know, the college is out there east of here on the east edge, and we've got 4 total parcels. 3 of them were more recent purchases than the first one. It was the biggest of the parcels, and that bigger one is B4, and the others are R. See, I'm doing this off the top of my head. I'm sorry. You have R1. Thank you. And so we're asking that they all be B4. We've got some plans for the site, and they all need to be zoned correctly and in line with what the college would need in order to do that. And so that's what we're here to do tonight, and we'll be around to answer any questions or anything you need from us this evening. Did I miss anything? No? There's a lot of good information in the packet, so I don't think you need me to do all that again. But again, we appreciate the opportunity, and lots of good stuff happening at the college, and this is one of those things that'll let us do even more of that. So,
Great.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Mr. Miller. It was Miller, right?
Miller, yep.
Yep.
Matt Miller, Matt Motes. Makes it easy. Couple of minutes.
Evidently.
Matt. Seeing no one else coming forward, we'll close public comment at 7:04 p.m. I believe there's no intention of request for closed session tonight, so that brings us to item 9 on the agenda, report boards and comments, board member reports, trustee bills.
I attended the Isabella County Board of Commissioners meeting last week on the 2nd, and it was an extensively long meeting. They are going to have a smart 911 app, so that's pretty cool. It's funded by the federal government, so that's going to be pretty nice too. And another thing is they are approving the .88 mil for the Isabella County Senior Center. And then they had a millage increase for, or a new millage, I think it is, for the Isabella County Parks and Rec at 3.35. Wait a minute, no, they've had it that way for a while. Sorry. And the Department of Transportation is going to be .862, which is the same. They went over the FEMA stuff, which was really cool. There's a whole plan I didn't even know about, where we have a manual and everything, and I think Manager Stooldryer must be the contact on that, but that's really neat for the emergency plans. And they talked about their 10-year financial forecast and that they're going to have a budget deficit in 2024. So they're going to try to trim some fat off the budget in a couple years. Other than that, that's about it.
And the voters passed the millage for the health department too, for the county health department.
Oh.
I didn't know if they discussed that, but I mean, that was up to the voters to decide. So.
I did not even look at the voting returns. I
that
voted
for
like
the-
2 months ago, so.
Was that for the health department or medical care facility?
Medical care facility.
My
Oh,
apologies.
yeah.
I misspoke. Yes,
Awesome project.
yes. I misspoke. My apologies. Thank you. Trustee Therian?
Nothing at this time. I'll probably have something, I know I'll have something at the next meeting and probably the following meeting, so we haven't met for a bit.
Trustee Hauk?
I have nothing. There's a road commission meeting tomorrow morning. They're all attend.
Okay. And I actually was unable to attend the last EDA, so I don't have a lot to report on that, but we'll get that report at the next meeting as well. So with that, we'll move on.
Okay. Can I
Sorry?
ask a
Yes.
question? It says appointments is needed. On the ZBA, we have openings, and this Brianne Muggenberg, is it Brianne or Bree Muggenberg? Brianne Muggenberg, we keep having this in our packets, and we haven't taken any action on it. It's been in there for at least the last 3 or 4 months. So I'm just wondering why we couldn't appoint her to one of the openings on the ZBA. She requested to either be on the planning commission.
We could take that up next time if you'd like, but I was waiting because the ZBA hasn't had any meetings, and I was waiting for additional applicants because we actually have two spots?
Well, if we've got a person willing to serve and we've got openings, why can't we appoint them? I
Valid point.
mean,
I agree.
we aren't, it's not like anybody's knocking the door down to get on it. So I just wonder, she's interested, so she looks like she's got some qualifications. So I'd like to make a motion to appoint Brianne Muggenberg to an opening on the ZBA.
Doesn't the supervisor have to do
No.
that?
No.
Oh, no? Okay. I'll second it.
We have a motion.
Let me see which one we've got, though, too. We've got, should I do that first? We should probably see which,
Oh, yeah, you have to put the term.
right. Well, there's a couple of terms that are open, and they all get renewed kind of at the end of the year here. So I'll put her in as this. It says number 4, secretary position. It says vacant seat that expires 12/31/22. So that's my nomination to put her on that seat.
Support.
Discussion? I was not planning on this tonight. I thought at the next meeting we might.
Well,
I
we've been
prefer not
hearing
to do
that
this
for,
with, we have 4 people on our board tonight, and
Well,
so.
okay, whatever.
But I appreciate your comments, and the motion is there, but I was not wanting to do it without our full board, but anyways.
Well, there's a motion on the floor to
Yep.
do it, so, and it's been seconded, so.
Any other discussion? All in favor of the motion to appoint Bree Mogenberg to the 12/31/2022 term ending for the ZBA, say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign? Nope. Motion passes.
I mean,
Thank
it's
you,
just
Bill.
been in our packet for 4 months, and, you know,
I guess I didn't even know. I thought these appointments had to be done by the supervisor, so that's my
It depends on
bad.
the board,
Okay.
yeah.
planning commission has to, well,
Okay.
he can, you know,
And
the
a
supervisor.
EDA, I believe. All right. Are we good?
Yeah.
With that, consent agenda, item 10, happy to entertain any motions regarding consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Support.
Motion by Howe, support by Bills. Who had,
I did, I looked
Thank you.
everything over yesterday, everything looked good.
great.
So I had a couple of questions, but as I was writing them down, Sherry came in, and I just whispered over at her, and she came and informed me what, you know, things were for, so things looked good.
Any discussion? All in favor of the motion to approve the consent agenda as presented, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes unanimously for the consent agenda. That brings us to new business. This is first reading for rezoning for Mid-Michigan College, as was spoken during public comment. Mr. Stuhldreher, would you like to introduce this at all?
Thank you, and good evening, everybody. This item, the paperwork begins on page 21 of your agenda packet. The action requested is to introduce and conduct a first reading for PREZ 22-02 of the zoning map. It's a request from Mid-Michigan College to rezone 3 parcels of property totaling just over 2.5 acres. Currently, they are zoned R1, and the request is to, which is rural residential, to B4, which is general business district. Mid-Michigan submitted a preliminary site plan for the development of an athletic sports complex at their campus, and during the staff review, it was noted that 3 of the parcels, the ones in question, are currently zoned R1, and this use is not allowed in R1. There's also no allowance for outdoor recreational facilities in R1. So the request is to rezone these to B4, general business, which does allow this use. The Planning Commission held a public hearing on this request at their July 19th regular meeting. They did make a motion and unanimously approved the recommendation that they approved to recommend to the Board of Trustees that the Board of Trustees approve this zoning request, this rezoning request. In our view, the adoption of the requested rezoning, one, it would place the entire campus under one uniform zoning classification, and this rezoning would also facilitate the future development of new athletic fields on campus, which can help attract new residents, students, and visitors to the community, adding to the vibrancy. We do have 2 gentlemen here. They've introduced themselves earlier. They're here to answer questions if you have any, and staff is willing to answer any questions you may have as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions or motion? Happy
I'll make a motion to introduce and conduct a first reading for the PREZ 22-02 zoning map amendment request from Mid-Michigan Community College to rezone 3 parcels totaling 2.59 acres of land, PID 14-013-40-00-2-00 and -003-00 and 012-00 on the west side of South Somerton Road in the southeast quarter of Section 13 from R1 Rural Residential to B4 General Business District.
Support.
Motion by Bills, support by Hauk. Discussion, questions? Trustee Bills?
I think Mid-Michigan Community College is a pillar of this community, and we should definitely support this in every way we can.
Trustee Therian or Trustee Hauk?
You guys had pretty good discussions.
Yeah, we,
In
yeah.
the planning
I
commission, it
actually
sounded
made the-
like.
I made the motion
Yeah.
at the planning commission, so I thought I'd let the other board members.
Yeah, I wondered, that,
participate.
yeah.
Yeah, we had a great discussion. I mean, the college encompasses the 3 properties
Yep.
anyway, and so it just made sense.
And it's
It
not
made
a
sense for what they were doing, and in talking with Supervisor Milky, he talked about looking at the master plan, how it was actually zoned for that, so.
Yeah, in reference to that, the future land use,
Right.
in particular was institutional, which is
Yeah.
exactly what that is, and everything else made sense to me. This
Yeah.
is a no-brainer, and I like your comments, Trustee Bills. And not only that, I think the community spoke, was it a year ago, a year and a half ago, regarding bringing the district into this area. So I think the public certainly supports this college too, and
Absolutely.
so I'm glad you're here. Too
Yeah.
bad it wasn't already zoned properly for you.
Yeah. Plus, it's not going to displace anybody else or anything like that. It just makes a lot of sense.
Any further discussion? We have a motion on the floor. Our clerk's not here. Is this something that we need a roll call vote on?
You do not.
Do not? Is there a need or a feeling that we should have a roll call
No.
on this?
I don't
Okay.
think so.
First reading.
All right, so all in favor of conducting this first reading regarding the Mid-Michigan College rezoning for those 3 parcels, say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion passes unanimously. First reading has been conducted. Next off to step 2, right?
You just
Or
wanted,
probably step 7 for you so
Yeah,
far.
we've been at this for a while, so thank you, appreciate it.
you just wanted to have your dad buy you dinner tonight, didn't you, Matt?
Thank you, Matt.
See you later. Good to see you, Matt.
Thanks, guys.
All right, that concludes our new business. That takes us to extended public comment. Extended public comment is restricted to 5 minutes regarding any issue. Again, if you choose to address the public, please state your name and address for the record. And with that, we'll open up extended public comment at 7:18 p.m. Seeing no one coming forward, we'll close extended public comment at 7:18 p.m. Quick question just for order. Are you getting times on this then? I know Lisa often records times.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
recording times.
Thank you. That brings us to item 13 on the agenda, manager's comments. Mr. Stuhldreher, welcome back. You have the floor.
Thank you. And just a couple comments, bring you up to speed on where we are with some of the sidewalk work. You may have noticed the Remus Road, Lincoln, east to Bradley, I believe it is almost completed. They're working, they're essentially done with the north side. They're almost done with the south side. And then when they're done there, the same firm is going to move over to Lincoln Road here and start working from the Lux property north. We did see a missed dig ticket pulled on that just earlier this week, so we know that's imminent. And then we also saw a missed dig ticket pulled for sidewalk work at the southwest corner of Remus and Lincoln. There's a section around, in front of Dozers on M20, and then around the corner heading south on Lincoln. That sidewalk, which requires installation from a prior agreement with Mr. McGurk. They pulled a misdig ticket, so it looks like that is imminent as well. So that's all I have tonight. Thank you.
Wonderful, thank you.
Yeah, that's great.
Final board member comment, item 14 on our agenda. Trustee Hauk.
I had a couple calls one last Friday and one Monday of this week about the parking lot out here. People wanted to know why we didn't have to go through a site plan review, because anything over 2,700 feet, 2,750 feet requires a site plan review. And then I had one guy say, well, you have to have sidewalk out there. I said, we're getting sidewalk. And then they said, well, it requires landscaping. I said, we just landscaped. We just upgraded our landscaping. They were wondering why, we didn't get approval from the road commission for ingress and egress, and if we had called ICTC to make sure that an ICTC bus could turn around. And then how come we don't have to have a retainage pond for runoff? Those are the questions that one of them asked. And then the other guy just wanted to know if we did a site plan review on it. And I told him that I didn't think so. I said, we just approved it at a meeting. So
I will have to get back to you on the specific answer on that. The Mr. Nanny is not here tonight.
yeah.
Whether or not it actually required a site plan or not, I don't know. As a matter of fact, so I need a minute to look into that. All those things you listed, drainage, bus turnaround, landscape, would all be part of the site plan approval process.
We
So-
did not have anything in the planning commission, so.
So we'll get back to you on whether or not that was required.
Okay. Well, I'm just saying I can't name names. I told them to come tonight. And
And that would be my answer.
yeah,
I just don't know.
And there's another thing I have for my public comments or final board comments is our meetings are open to the public. I mean, I would like to see some of these seats filled. It'd be nice to hear from the public on issues. And then the only other thing I had was Lisa said the elections went pretty good. There were a few hiccups, but things went pretty good, so. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Trustee Therian.
I guess really the only thing I have is, will we see an annual global ends report? We saw one last year, and I don't know if I'm ahead of myself or behind or.
No, you'll see one, and I'm targeting, I believe it's one of the meetings in September. It is a little late, but it'll help kick off the budget discussion for '23 as well.
Okay. Thank you.
All set?
I think. No, I actually have one other comment. The other comment was I happened to be on vacation last week, driving around town, and I actually drove Isabella south of Broomfield, and then I believe it's Deerfield Road, and just took notice that there were people walking in the road where there are no sidewalks. I mean, I know that's a discussion that we've talked about a lot, but that road is extremely dangerous for people to be out on the road because for whatever reason, the grass is too tall or the trail isn't quite there anymore. But there's sections, as we've talked and noticed before, there are sections of sidewalk. I know it's
Talking about bluegrass?
I'm sorry, Bluegrass,
yes.
not Deerfield.
Okay, thank you.
Bluegrass and Isabella.
Yeah.
With the
Yes.
gas station going on the corner of Broomfield and and Isabella. It would be the southwest corner. I know it's a priority, but it's when you actually drive out there and you see how dangerous it is. I wish there was something we could do, and I believe Mr. Nanny's doing all that he can, but whatever we got to do, I think that's so important out there.
I agree. I also saw people this last week walking down the road, sidewalk, and there was a sidewalk on the other side of the road. They weren't walking on that, and then the side they were walking on, there is a pathway that's been worn because there's no sidewalk there. And it astounds me that they continue to walk down that road because it is a dangerous place, and it's probably not a matter of if, but when somebody will get hurt without that having pedestrian access. So I agree. It gets me very excited to see what we're seeing on Remus here.
Yes.
Oh, for sure.
But that is certainly one of those locations that we know is a problem area. So I appreciate your comments.
I would even say Broomfield on the north side from Isabella heading towards Mission.
We have another site plan that you guys went through as well, right? That should extend the sidewalk further along Broomfield, correct?
Down,
I can't.
That's that mixed use one?
the down.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's
It's
gonna
on the
help.
south side.
Okay.
But I mean, that we may have gaps as a result
Oh,
of
yeah,
that.
yeah, on the south side. I'm sorry, yes, on the south side.
Broomfield, yes.
Yeah, I'm referencing more the north side.
Okay.
Well, I
Yeah,
mean, you
both are
can't have
problems.
everything.
You see a trail there along the farm field. It's, you've got residents on both sides.
So, isn't Isabella one of those things where we don't have the right of way anymore? We don't have enough right of way to get that in there.
Bluegrass. I mean,
but
there may be
Isabella's
issues on-
not?
There may be issues on Isabella, but I'm more familiar because of the priority in the
Oh, yeah.
past was that bluegrass corridor.
We're
And
familiar.
then coming up Isabella and the Broomfield, but I know the priority really was closing those gaps on bluegrass.
And aren't we starting some
don't
kind
have
of
easements.
eminent domain type thing on that, or?
Yeah, there was discussions by this board years ago, because remember, just history here, I think it was about 2010 or 2011. Money
Mhm.
was actually approved at that time for sidewalk down Bluegrass, up Isabella, and connecting to the city on Broomfield. But here we still are, 10 years later. Easements have been an issue. That's probably our single biggest issue. Was that a reasonable statement, Mr. Stuhldreher? The easements?
My recollection of the priorities from the sidewalk committee puts that in at least the top 3.
So we could just appropriate some funds and do it? Is that what?
Well, we don't have easements on
We
some of
don't
those
have-
vacant properties.
On
I'd have to go
Isabella?
back to the report we provided a few months ago on the
Yeah, I
status
read
of all
through it.
these, and
Yeah.
that would give you the best update.
I did ask, related to this, if I may, I did ask our manager if we've had any feedback regarding the sidewalks going in on Remus, whether we got any pushback at all, because granted, we had easements on that. That's a state trunk line, right? So there was easements for us to work within, but my understanding, correct me if I misstate your answer to me, was there was no pushback, but there were a few questions about what was going on.
Correct. And then 1 or 2 positive, glad to see it type of comments.
I had a lot of that in my office too, talking to people about it, so.
Yeah, I drove that. I mean, I drive that route almost every day, but
Yeah.
even when I would run an errand, if Pickard made more sense for me, I would still go down Remus because I wanted to see the progress in the last 4 hours. It's really exciting to see.
And they're doing a good job.
They are. It's really nice. Proud of us getting that done with EDA is a big help, obviously. They made that happen, right? But
Yeah.
glad to see it. Are you good?
I'm good, thanks.
Appreciate your comments. The only other thing that,
Did you get Connie's?
Yeah,
Connie
well,
has
Oh, I'm
it?
sorry.
I didn't mean to get left out.
I was thinking I went this way. My apologies.
It's okay.
Trustee Bills, thank you. Trustee Hal.
I'm very excited because Camille's on the River is having the Iron Chef competition tomorrow, which is going to be really cool. And there is Thursdays in the park, so don't forget Thursdays in the park tomorrow. I think they're having a splash pad, so
Is that
that's
it?
all.
Island
Thank you.
Park?
Yes.
Thank you. Well, I had on my notes to talk about sidewalks, but we already kind of did that a little bit, so I'm excited to see the progress that's being made. The only other thought I had, and this comes from talking to people in the community about the sidewalks, and what became real apparent to me is there are a lot of people in our community that have no idea why that's being done, meaning who's paying for that, who's directing it, who made it happen. And the answer is the township did, right?
Yeah.
And to me, that speaks to people not really understanding all that we do here. And part of our charge through our policy governance is linkage, owner linkage, right? So I continue to think about, are there ways that we can better communicate the things that are being done? I know we've talked about like a newsletter in the past. I think the issue with that potentially is, are we burdening the staff more? Because some of that newsletter would need to come from the board. But I just want to bring it up again that I think that would be an excellent way if we did like a biannual newsletter to communicate to our residents and businesses
Yeah,
what we've accomplished, what we're planning to accomplish in the next 6 months.
and they should come to a meeting.
And and maybe it would encourage some of that.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to float that seed. I'm not asking to go anywhere with that.
Well, we need to go somewhere with that.
Right,
So-
and I know we're gonna be talking about budget, so maybe if there's support for that idea, maybe.
We've had this discussion before.
We have, and it hasn't gone anywhere, so I'm just bringing it back up.
Well, I mean, how does it go somewhere? Aren't you in charge of putting it on the agenda or something? I don't know how it goes. I thought we all wanted it on there. That's what I'm saying.
I don't remember any formal request for that. We did have discussions.
Yeah, we didn't, we just kind of. We agreed that something needed to be done, we just didn't.
I want to send out surveys. I want to send out a whole bunch of stuff. I want to send it out. Yeah, I think if we could put it into one thing twice a year, that'd be great.
And
But yeah, I'm all for it.
I just, regarding the surveys, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, our manager has that now on your radar. You've been understood from this board that we'd like to do that from the public.
Yes.
Okay.
So we could combine that with a newsletter.
The planning commission has a survey, we're still kind of
Yes.
in discussion about that right now,
That's for the parks, right?
for the parks.
Correct, yeah.
Master plan.
So in any event, that's what I had is, so if, what I'm hearing is positive feedback from that, and we should have this discussion further.
Yes,
Okay.
please.
Please.
So, thank you. Yes, trustee
I have
Howard.
one other thing while we're bringing up, good things that the township's done. Bamber Road, I don't know if people saw that that's closed, but Mark, I'm assuming that is closed because of the culverts that are getting changed, right? Do you know?
I do not.
I don't know either. I've had people ask me why Bamber Road's closed, and I didn't know, but I know it's not because the traffic light's going in, because they wouldn't have the whole road closed. But I'm assuming it's the culvert. Remember, they were gonna put bigger culverts in on Bamber Road and then on Crawford Road to help alleviate some of the drainage problems that were occurring. And I know that was initiated by the township quite a few years ago, and the drain commission had finally gotten that creek cleaned out. They're still actually working on it. So
I think it's still all part of that project. They started,
they started way
started
over
up
by
here.
your place.
yeah, by my place and then directly across on River.
Yeah,
And they're kind of working their way this way, so.
yeah, and that's why, it only makes sense to start upstream and work your way down. But I'm sure that's why that's closed. Because I haven't seen any other
That's my
action. I
best-
haven't heard anything from the road
That's
commission.
my
why it's
best
closed.
guess as well. I can confirm that with a call to the road commission,
Yeah, I'll ask
tomorrow.
that question tomorrow morning.
but, yeah.
Call it, yeah, drain.
Because I know the drain, Mission Creek Drain is still being worked. It's a large project.
Yeah. Well,
And
they
it
cleaned-
involves culverts underneath a couple roads.
Well, and then when we
upsizing.
walked along there a few years ago, after the flood, we were talking about all the trees and debris down in the creek, and now that's all cleaned out.
Mhm.
So things should flow better. So and that's one other thing that was initiated by this office. So
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yep.
Any other business for the goodwill of the community? With that, I'd be happy to entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Support.
Motion by Bills, support by Thering. All in favor of the motion to adjourn, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Kind of weird being 4 people here.
Dude,
I didn't know
and no support
Jeff
staff
wasn't gonna be
except
here.
Tara.